Well guys, this story might just be the biggest surprise of the season. Boise State has officially locked up a spot in the college football playoff, and not only that, they did it in dramatic fashion, securing the number 3 seed and a first round bye. Let's be honest, if you told me before the year that the Broncos would reach these heights, I'd have my doubts. But here we are with Boise State standing tall among the elite, led by a Heisman-caliber superstar in running back Ashton Jeanty. Before we dive into how they got here and what made their comeback so special, I just want to say, if you enjoy college football coverage like this, please take a moment to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and let me know down in the comments below how far you think Boise State will go in this year's college football playoff. Alright, so to really appreciate Boise State's rise this season, you have to understand where they were coming from. In 2023, the Broncos entered year 3 under head coach Andy Avalos, fresh off a respectable 10-4 season in 2022. Expectations were high. They aimed for a New Year's Six Bowl bid. And with a non-conference schedule featuring Washington, UCF, North Dakota, and Memphis, they thought they could make a national splash. The target was at least 3 wins out of those 4. Instead, they stumbled to a 1-3 start outside the Mountain West, which included a blowout loss at Washington and painfully close defeats to UCF and Memphis. Their only non-conference win came against North Dakota. Under Danielson, Boise State suddenly caught fire. The Broncos won their final 2 regular season games, earned a spot in the Mountain West Championship, and defeated UNLV to claim the conference crown. Although they fell to UCLA in the LA Bowl afterward, the turnaround caught everyone's attention. Danielson became the first interim head coach in FBS history to win a conference title. That feat earned him the full-time job heading into the 2024 season. A longtime staff member from 2017, Danielson rose from graduate assistant to position coach, co-defensive coordinator, and eventually defensive coordinator. Now at the helm of the program, he had a chance to rewrite Boise State's trajectory. Entering the 2024 season, one of the biggest storylines was whether Boise State could hold on to their offensive centerpiece, Ashton Jeanty. Despite interest from big-time programs, Jeanty stayed in Boise. The Broncos also made headlines by landing a USC transfer quarterback, Maddux. Many fans expected Nelson to take the starting job, but it was actually Maddux Madson, familiar with the offensive system and coming off a solid performance in 2023, who won the QB battle. Madson had shown flashes, throwing for over 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns the previous year, and he entered 2024 with a lot of confidence. Experts set Boise State's preseason win total at around 9.5 games, tagging them as one of the favorites to win the Mountain West. If all the pieces clicked, they could be a true contender for a group of 5 playoff spots. Jeanty in particular was widely seen as a potential Heisman candidate. The stage was set for something special. The Broncos kicked off 2024 by traveling across the country to face Georgia Southern. This was no cupcake opener, and it is never an easy place to play. That didn't matter to Jeanty though, who exploded onto the scene right away. He racked up jaw-dropping numbers, including a 77-yard touchdown run to start the scoring. By the end of the day, Jeanty had amassed 267 total yards and 6 touchdowns, averaging over 13 yards per carry. Boise State won a shootout 56-45, and the Heisman buzz for Jeanty began to swirl. The Broncos moved to 1-0, and everyone took notice. After the bye, Boise headed into Eugene to face the number 6 ranked Oregon Ducks. This would be a big test. Oregon was coming off a dominant defensive performance in their opener, and oddsmakers weren't giving Boise State much of a chance. The Ducks were 20.5-point favorites, yet the Broncos marched into hostile territory unafraid. They led 20-14 at halftime and even extended their edge to 34-27 late in the game. Oregon, who would go on to become Big Ten champions and finish the regular season as the top-ranked team, needed a last-second field goal to escape with a 37-34 win. Jeanty shredded Oregon's defense with 192 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns, proving Boise State could hang with the game's elite. Even in defeat, the Broncos outgained the Ducks and looked every bit like a playoff-caliber team in the making. With the Oregon close call in the rearview mirror, Boise State returned home and crushed Portland State 56-14. Then they squared off against Washington State, another measuring stick game. Jeanty delivered again with over 250 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns, and the Broncos pulled away for a 45-24 victory. Suddenly, Boise State was a powerhouse. They dominated Utah State 62-30 at home, then flew to Hawaii and beat them 28-7 and entered their second bye at 5-1. One of the season's most pivotal games came in Las Vegas against UNLV. Many expected the Rebels to challenge for the Mountain West title. UNLV took an early lead and led 10-3 after the first quarter, Boise State struggled to find the end zone until the end of the half when Madson punched in a 7-yard rushing score to take a 13-10 lead. Just before the break, he connected with Matt Lowe on a passing touchdown, stretching the lead to 20-10. UNLV did fight back, eventually leading 24-23 going into the fourth quarter, but Jeanty stepped up, scoring early in the final period to put Boise State up 29-24. The Broncos defense finally locked down the Rebels' fast-paced offense, preserving the win and improving to 6-1. This victory was huge for seeding in the Mountain West and controlling their destiny for a title game rematch on the famous blue turf. From there, Boise State kept rolling. They bulldozed San Diego State, then faced a scrappy Nevada team that, despite finishing 3-10, gave both Boise State and SMU all they could handle. The Wolfpack tied the game at 14 heading into halftime, but the Broncos pulled away in the second half to win 28-21. They then traveled to San Jose State, entering halftime tied at 14 before blowing it open in the second half for a 42-21 victory. The following week, they overcame a tense showdown against Wyoming, winning 17-13 thanks to a late touchdown and a stout defensive stand. Boise State wrapped up the regular season at home by taking down Oregon State 34-18. With that, the Broncos capped off a remarkable regular season, heading into the Mountain West Championship game with a playoff berth now within reach. In the conference title rematch against UNLV, this time on their home field, Boise State wasted no time. They stormed out to a 21-0 halftime lead. Although the offense didn't score in the second half, the defense stole the show, locking down the Rebels until late in the fourth quarter. The Broncos held on for a 21-7 win, securing back-to-back Mountain West crowns and, more importantly, punching their ticket into the college football playoff as the number 3 seed. So how did they do it? The offense averaged over 39 points per game, ranking 4th nationally. Their defense gave up just under 22 points per game, placing them comfortably in the upper tier of FBS defenses. Maddux Madson blossomed under Danielson's leadership, throwing for over 2,700 yards, 22 touchdowns, and just 3 picks. He managed the game effectively and made big plays when it was needed. But the star of the show, with no questions asked, was Ashton Jeanty. He is in the thick of the Heisman race after piling up 2,497 rushing yards and 29 rushing touchdowns. An astonishing performance considering opponents keyed in on him every week. He also added over 400 receiving yards and 5 receiving TDs. Even when he dealt with minor injuries, Jeanty found ways to dominate. His versatility and explosiveness turned Boise State's offense into a juggernaut. Boise State is still flying under the radar compared to the powerhouse names that usually dominate playoff headlines, but they've already proven they can hang with the best. The Broncos are balanced, disciplined, and they know how to win close games. They came through in the clutch multiple times this season, showing resilience at every turn. That composure, combined with elite talent in the backfield, gives them a puncher's chance against anyone. So, how far will Boise State go in the college football playoff? Can they ride Jeanty's legs and Madson's arm to a historic run? Let's hear it from you. Drop a comment below and let me know your predictions. That's really all I have for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly does mean the world. And also, please let me know what you would like to see next, and until then, I will see you all later.